Good morning for our you viewers from all over you watching from. Here is a Babagade Imo News Panorama, a program selected and designed for your viewing pleasure as regards all of the news stories that came up on the national dailies in Nigeria since Monday till the weekend, and you will take it as much as we have for your pleasure this very Sunday morning. My name is Morire Rabila Lawal. I'm beginning with two stories from Monday news dailies, and a very Monday morning story we brought to you about the voice of Aisha Buhari, I beg your pardon, Aisha Yusufu, which says that another protest worse than #EndSARS looms as she warns. And the story has it that Aisha Yusufu has warned corrupt politicians in Nigeria, frustrating the masses, stressing that their unpatriotic actions can lead to another nationwide protest worse than #EndSARS. Popular social political activist Aisha Yusufu has warned corrupt politicians in Nigeria to stop harassing and frustrating their polity. Yusufu said the anger burning in the heart of many Nigerians may snowball to another protest other than the one experienced in 2020 tagged EndSARS. In 2020, Nigeria staged demonstrations across the nation to call for the end of police unit, the Special Anti-Robbery Squad, SARS, notorious for brutalizing youth, and their nefarious activities during their time made the Nigerian youth to storm the streets to show their displeasure and dislikeness and even yearning for the banning, which came to reality, and they came up with another special unit from the police force, which we do not have the SARS officers anymore on our streets. The protest, which started on Twitter, resulted in mass demonstrations occurring in all major cities of the country and accompanying violence, leading to the death of many young Nigerians after military personnel were present at Lekki Toll Gate, Lagos, to shoot at peaceful protesters without arms. Yesterday, the co-convener of the Bring Back Our Girls, who was one of the activists at the center of the protest, said Nigerians might just be caught unawares of another demonstration. Sadly, it might end up being violent. There is a simmering anger fueled by the impunity and brazeness of the corrupt politicians and rulers who have rigged their way into power. Nobody will be spared. She's given this warning as a result of everything going on in Nigeria. Although SARS activities and general issues of police brutality, including unlawful arrest, torture, and extrajudicial killings, were at its core, the protests became a platform for demanding government decisive action against insecurity, corruption, economic woes, and general maladministration, blamed for the suffering of the majority of Nigerians and lack of opportunities for the youth. The organizers made a 5-point demand as condition for ending the #EndSARS protest. These included compensations for the family of those who died under police brutality, the release of arrested protesters, and an increase in the salaries and allowances of police officers. Protesters also demanded that an independent body be set up to investigate allegations of police misconduct and to prosecute those indicted. They also called for the psychological evaluation of officers of the disbanded SARS before they are redeployed into other units. Another story that made the headlines on Monday again is coming from Kwara State. Mrs. Olawale, the wife of an evangelical church winning all Ekwa pastor, has been killed. 3 others were abducted by gunmen in Agbeku community, Ifeledun, local government area in Kwara State. It is gathered that the incident happened on Saturday night over the last weekend, November 11, 2023, when abductors invaded the church auditorium and the residence of the victim. The late pastor's wives operate a provision store in the area, popularly known by residents in the area and the neighborhood. A community leader, Honorable Rosaki Zubair, who confirmed the incident, said gunmen also abducted one Reverend Oladoni, the present Ekwa Ibaja District Church chairman. They killed Mrs. Olawale, wife of one of the pastors who operate a travel provision store around the community, while another person who was also shot is battling for life in a hospital. Went away with the aid of the late pastor's wife and another male victim, he said. A senior officer also confirmed the incident to the publication, who brought these 2 stories for you on Monday. From Monday, we go straight to the news on Tuesday. The driver of the Honda Saloon car with number plate Ekpe 984 DV that rammed into the Lagos State Waste Management Authority sweepers while they were discharging their duties along Bagada Expressway on Monday morning has turned himself in to the police. The State Police Public Relations Officer, SP Benjamin Udain, confirmed the development to correspondent. Udain said the driver would be charged to court for manslaughter. He said the owner of the underselling car turned himself in and he will be taken to court for manslaughter. It was not a murder. It was an accident and was not deliberate, so he will be charged with manslaughter. It was earlier reported that the driver, after crushing the two lawmen sweepers, took off, leaving his car. He was reported to have rammed into the sweepers while allegedly trying to escape from officials of the Lagos State Traffic Management Authority. However, the Ministry of Transportation, in a statement on Monday, denied the involvement of last-man officials in the incident, stating that anyone found culpable after investigation will be punished accordingly. We read further that the statement partly read immediate investigation revealed that no last-man officer was involved in the unfortunate accident. The Ministry of Transportation wants to assure members of the public that the outcome of the police investigation will be made public and anyone found culpable will be made to face the consequences of the law. Moving on to the second story we brought to you on Tuesday. The Human Rights Writers Association of Nigeria, ORIWA, on Tuesday commended the National Security Advisor, Ribadu, for summoning the courage to admit that the Bola Tinubu-led federal government inherited a bankrupt country from the immediate past Muhammad Buhari administration. Emmanuel Onwubiko, ORIWA's national coordinator, called for Buhari's investigation and arrest and trial by the International Criminal Court (ICC) in the wake of NSA's comment. Ribadu, while speaking at the Chief of Defense Intelligence Annual Conference 2023, said the country was battling budgetary constraints, having inherited a bankrupt country from the previous administration with about 46 trillion naira in debts to clear. He said, "Fine, it is important for you to know that we have inherited a very difficult situation, literally a bankrupt country. No money to a point where we can say that all the money we are getting now, we are paying back what was taken. It is serious. But this administration is doing its best to meet our requirement, particularly the armed forces, and I believe that your leaders will be able to testify to that." Reacting, Onwubiko, in a statement on Tuesday, accused Buhari administration of human rights violation, corruption, and economic mismanagement. In her remarks during an interdenominational program ongoing in the recent speech at the Chief of Defense Intelligence Annual Conference, Ribadu attributed the current financial crisis to the bankruptcy inherited by President Tinubu's administration. While acknowledging budgetary constraints, Ribadu assured that the government is diligently working to ensure a robust defense management and security structure. He commended the armed forces for their commitment and positive changes under the current leadership. The rights group further alleged that the last president tolerated terrorists and killings of civilians, adding it amounted to crimes against humanity and that ought to be addressed and redressed by taking the former president to the International Criminal Court in The Hague, Netherlands. Oriwa further alleged that the militant groups led by Asari Dokubo engaged in human rights violation unabated. Former militant leader Asari Dokubo revealed that his private army was contracted by the Nigerian government to maintain security on the Abuja-Kaduna road and in various parts of the country. All of the stories came up on Tuesday. Moving on to the next story, as regards the program News Panorama from Bababagide Imo Television. Those two stories from Tuesday wrapped up for the one on Tuesday news headlines. We're going straight to the one from Wednesday. The National Security Advisor, Ribadu, has confirmed the arrest of some of the suspects who assaulted the president of the Nigeria Labour Congress (NLC) in Owerri, Imo State on November 1. Ajaero was attacked by thugs suspected to be loyal to the Imo State Governor, Hope Uzodinma, where he was addressing state workers as they prepared to embark on a strike to protest non-payment of the salaries and allowances, as well as other sundry issues. The NLC president was allegedly arrested by the police and handed over to the thugs who reportedly brutalized him. However, a statement on Wednesday issued by the head of strategic communications in the NSC's office, Zachary Mijinyawa, said some suspects had been arrested in connection with the attack on Ajaero and called on the organized labor to call off its ongoing strike action. The statement noted that NSA, who had expressed concern over the ongoing industrial action by the labor unions, had propelled the investigations that led to the arrest of the suspect. The Office of the National Security Advisor is concerned by the declaration of a nationwide strike by the leadership of the organized labor led by the NLC and TUC. The NSA is particularly worried about the implications of the strike action on the livelihood of ordinary Nigerians and its potential impact on economic, security, and other strategic national interest, says the NSA to the president. As attested by the NLC's leadership, the NSA immediately intervened on learning about the travails of the president of the Nigeria Labour Congress, Joseph Ajaero, who was assaulted in Owerri, Imo State. The NSA regrets the incident and condemns it in its entirety as it was against the rule of law and principles of freedom of association, an expression subscribed to by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and his administration. The federal government will never condone such acts. These are all of the stories that came up as a reaction by the NSA to the assault that came on to the Nigeria Labour Congress President Joseph Ajaero at Owerri, few days to the governorship election that came off on Saturday in 3 major states, which is known as off-cycle election between Bayelsa, Kogi, and Imo State. Going on to the next Wednesday stories, it was reported that one of the former ministers of finance, or Nolakbo Shule, a former minister of finance during the Muhammadu Buhari's regime as head of state, is dead. A statement by his family on Wednesday said Shule died at the age of 90. He celebrated his 90th birthday on Saturday. What a wonderful doing of God. With heavy heart but with gratitude to God Almighty for a long, impactful and positive eventual life, the family announced the passing of Pa Dr. Onolapo Shule, the father of our late brother, Major General O.O. Shule, retired. He turned 90 years only last Saturday, the statement reads. Papa served the country and humanity in various capacities, rising to the position of an associate professor in the University of Ibadan, Commissioner for Works in Ogun State, and Minister of Finance of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, among others. He was a true lover of God and humanity, and this translated into his unwavering commitment to church activities, as well as ready support and assistance to all who came across him in any way that he could. The loss of Dr. Shule is surely not that of the Shule family alone. It is our father that has just passed, and we must all prepare to be part of his rite of passage. Burial details will be announced by the family in due course as of Wednesday when we brought it to you. This is just a panorama concerning all of the dailies that happened between Monday till date. Until then, please pray for the repose of Papa's souls and God comfort upon his family and other loved ones. Former President Muhammadu Buhari, in a statement signed by Garba Shehu, his former spokesperson, described Shule as a rare gentleman and an expert in financial matters who served the nation diligently. Shule played a pivotal role in that sort. Corrective administration. His rich administrative and financial experiences were contributory to whatever achievement we recorded at that time. He diligently served Nigeria. His with intellect, diligence, and warm personality were legendary, the statement reads. Before we have a step forward or further, we need to go on a commercial break. We'll be back. Welcome back. You are watching a news panorama from Babagide Imo Television, BGI TV. I am Morire Rabila Lawal. We went on a break on the Wednesday news stories as it came before you, and we're making it up as usual. We're going straight to Thursdays. What happened on Thursday? And the very first story on Thursday, we brought to you that the reasons why they call off strike, or why the strike went on between Tuesday and Wednesday, and they had a meeting with the presidency and exactly with the NSA, Ribadu, who eventually gave them assurance reason why they should suspend the strike. The meeting began on Wednesday and it ran through Thursday morning. And the industrial action went across Nigeria on Wednesday, crumbling almost all activities from people working at their various offices, which most of the unions in every state in Nigeria went after schools, banks, and other companies and organizations to shut their operations for that day and to join the industrial nationwide strike. Now, the very first story is on Thursday, this hour, as News Panorama has it. The organized labor has explained why it suspended a nationwide indefinite strike commenced on November 14. Mr. Emmanuel Ubuaja, General Secretary, Nigeria Labour Congress, explained the action in a statement he jointly signed by Mr. Nuhu Toro, Secretary General Trade Union Congress TUC, on Wednesday in Abuja. The NEC session had a thorough review of the offers presented by the federal government through the National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu. We found the offers credible and decided to reconsider our action, he said. It will be recalled that the organized labor earlier met with the NSA and the Minister of Labor and Employment, Simon Lalong. After the meeting, we directed all affiliate and state councils of both NLC and TUC to demobilize, cease any further escalation of industrial action. We will fully resume work tomorrow, Thursday, the 16th, which the news we brought to you. This is just a reflection as what happened on Thursday on News Panorama today. And we're letting you know that he added that a resolution was reached to suspend the ongoing nationwide strike, which commenced on 14th. After, according to Uguaja, the suspension is intended to facilitate further discussions after the federal government had met crucial demands. We expect government to address the distressing abduction and brutalization of the President of the Nigerian Labour Congress, Mr. Joe Ajaero, and others. This incident occurred in the hands of police and Governor Uzodinma's thugs in Owerri, Imo State on 1st day of November 2023, he said. He noted that an apology was tendered on behalf of the government by the NSA, who promised to coordinate the investigation. He added that some of the perpetrators had been arrested, while others would be fished out and prosecuted. Ubuaja said that high-powered investigation was currently being carried out and the leadership of the labor centers would be briefed continuously as progress is being made. He commended all affiliate and state councils for their unwavering commitment and tenacity that made the strike a success. Once again, we convey our appreciation for your cooperation, resilience, and determination in ensuring the success of the indefinite nationwide strike. We encourage you to remain vigilant as we await the fulfillment of the remaining agreement, he said. These are explanations why the call of the strike on Thursday morning, which has already crumbled the nation between Tuesday and Wednesday. Moving on to the next story on Thursday, we brought to you. An early morning fire has killed 2 internally displaced persons, IDPs, and destroyed more than 1,000 houses at the Muna Alamdari IDP camp in Maiduguri, northeast Nigeria. The fire, which started at about 6 a.m., lasted for over an hour before it was brought under control by agents of the State Fire Service. The Director General of the State Emergency Management Agency, Dr. Barkindo Mohammed, said in Maiduguri that IDP, Civilian Joint Task Force, security agencies, and some Good Samaritans also helped in putting out the fire. Mohammed added that the agency will assess the extent of the damages while making an effort to provide immediate humanitarian support to the victims. We are immediately providing 500 bags of rice, blankets, as well as other non-food items to mitigating their suffering, the official said. In addition to all of these immediate humanitarian support to the victims and the IDPs, I want to ask a question to Nigerian leaders. Is it until something happened, something tragic happened, or before any of Nigerian citizens, before we get access to our expectations, our dividends? These are normal calls voted leaders or elected governors, council chairmen, or reps, or senators, or ministers should have at the back of their mind. If you're representing your people from your constituency, you should also understand the fact that there is no time that we'll have the morning that the noon will not come. And when the noon comes, we'll have the evening before the night comes. Can you go back to your constituency conveniently, with comfort, without security guards entering your constituency without the fear of being attacked? What if you are not attacked? What about the roads? Are the roads good? What about the schools? Majority of you went through Nigeria scholarship before becoming what you are today. It's just the grace. A day is coming that Nigeria will change for good. I believe so. Moving on out of Thursday's occurrences on the news dailies, we're going straight to the ones from Friday, which happened, and you're watching it live on BGI television this Sunday morning. I'm going on to the very first story coming from the Brinungwari story. How the troops launched an attack on the terrorists, the bandits, in their hideout. Bandits and terrorists operating in the forest of Brinungwari suffered heavy casualty on Thursday in the hands of troops of 1 Division, Nigeria Army and Operation Wild Punch. This was made known in a statement signed by Lieutenant Colonel Musa Yahya, Acting Deputy Director, Army Public Relations, 1 Division, which was obtained. Yahya said, acting on credible intelligence, the troops carried out an offensive clearance operation to terrorist strongholds in Sabon Birni, Dogondawa, Saulawa, Maidaro, Ngede Allah, and all in Brinungwari local government area of Kaduna State, and made contact with the insurgents. In the fight ensured when contact was made, troops neutralized 6 bandits, recovered 2 AK-47 rifle, 4 AK-47 rifle magazines, 14 rounds of 7.62 mm ammunition, 40 pairs of bandit uniforms, and 9 motorcycles. The General Officer commanding 1 Division Nigeria Army and Force Commander Operation Wild Punch, Major General Valentin Okoro, has applauded the troops for their gallantry and charged them not to relent until all terrorists, bandits, and other criminal elements in the division's area of responsibility are completely wiped out. This was a shocker for the bandits in their stronghold hideout in Brinungwari. I pray all of the Nigerian troops get to have success when they confront all of these people. Going on to the next story. We brought to you on Friday that the Anambra State Ministry of Women and Social Welfare, through the Anambra State Police Command, has apprehended a 31-year-old man identified as James Rich for impregnating a girl who reside in Awka, the state capital. Rich is said to come from Cross River State but resident in Awka, and also a yardman at the St. Michael's and All Angels Anglican Church, Ifete, Awka. This was made known in a press statement issued by Chairman Chidimma Ikenyowo, the media aide to the Anambra State Commissioner for Women and Social Welfare, Ife Obinabo. She said, interviewing the suspect, he accepted to have did the act and impregnated her in the process. He explained that he usually did so every Sunday morning at the church premises, and that he had the act for about 3 times, after which he gave her money to buy biscuits. The suspect, who though married with 2 children, expecting the 3rd child, lives on the church premises where he carries out his daily activity, pleaded for pardon. Stated that this was his first time of committing the crime and it was a temptation that made him to do so. On her part, the victim, who had developmental challenges, added that the suspect usually the file every Sunday morning before 6:30 a.m. service started. Reacting to the incident, the Commissioner for Women and Social Welfare, Obinabo, who spoke through our Special Assistant Blessing Onweke, disclosed that the case would be charged to court immediately in order to get justice for the lady. She therefore warned adults to stop doing the act to ladies, especially minors in the area, to avoid spending the rest of their lives in prison, as the state does not tolerate such. It's so funny when men get themselves involved in dastardly acts, they tend to say, yeah, they were tempted by devil. Why did the devil attempt you to doing something tragic to yourself, not to someone else? Because you need to always be the safeguard of your brothers and sisters, says the Holy Books. Moving on to the next story. The Central Bank of Nigeria said that its monetary policy reforms are beginning to have positive effect on the country's economy, reacting to the just released inflation rate for October. In a statement issued by the Director of the Corporate Communications Department, CBN, Isa Abdulmumin, the Apex Bank vowed to return to evidence-based monetary policy status to restore stakeholders' confidence in Nigeria's financial system. In October, the CBN Governor Dr. Yemi Cardozo said there was an urgent need for discontinuation of unorthodox monetary policies and foreign currency management and unorthodox use of ways and means spending. Cardozo added the economic policy proposals of the administrations identified a set of fiscal reforms and growth target that will achieve $1 trillion GDP within 8 years. Before we continue on the story concerning the CBN, maybe we should go on a short break. We'll be back. Welcome back on News Panorama from BGI Television. We continue from the story from the CBN. According to data released by National Bureau of Statistics figures on Wednesday from the story, inflation accelerated to 27.33% in October, a slight increase from September's 26.72%. The Apex Bank emphasized that the current inflation rate underscored the gradual influence of the CBN's money market reforms on the economy. He pointed out that the marginal rise in the average price level for October indicated the effectiveness of the CBN's monetary policy stance and money market reforms in achieving the desired results. Highlighting the commitment of the Apex Bank's leadership, Abdul Mumin stated that efforts are underway to fulfill its core mandate of stabilizing the naira and reducing inflation in Nigeria. If all of this is achieved, I believe so much that yes, Naira will be a very good currency against the US dollar, which we're all yearning for. The leadership of the newest administration in Nigeria is just 6 months old, and I'm urging all Nigerians to have this patience and understanding that yes, a falling castle can never be built under 6 months. Even if the funds are available, what about the lasting structure and architecture? Moving on to the next story, which we brought to you on Friday as you're watching the Panorama today, Sunday morning. At least 2 people were killed in the Kaduna state capital as police operatives attempted to disperse the proscribed Islamic movement in Nigeria, otherwise known as Shiite, during the protest over the ongoing Israeli-Palestinian war. Pandemonium broke out following the alleged killing of 2 passers-by as the security operatives tried to disperse the IMN members who were holding a procession along Wharf Road in Kaduna metropolis. An eyewitness said that the Shiites holding banners with photographs of the leader Sheikh Ibrahim El-Zakizaki were marching towards the office of the National Human Rights Commission to submit a letter in support of the people of Gaza in Palestine when they were resisted by security operatives. And during the process, a commercial motorcyclist and another passerby were reportedly shot and killed. Commenting on the incident, the police public relations officer in the state, Mansur Hassan, blamed the IMN members for the crisis, accusing them of killing an innocent motorcycle operator, Sani Aliyu. Hassan explained that the Shiites had unlawfully blocked the road during a protest and refused motorists from passing. He said upon the arrival of policemen to the scene, the Shiites, who were armed with dangerous weapons, including locally made guns, catapults, and arrows, opened fire on the police. The police spokesman stated that 2 policemen were injured by the rampaging Shiite members, who also shot a 40-year-old motorcycle operator, Sani Aliyu, to death. Hassan further disclosed that the operation and the action between the Shiite members and police is on investigation into the incident as commenced with a view to arresting and prosecuting those behind the crisis. These are norms that should be stopped totally, because similar action brought Sheikh Ibrahim El-Zakizaki against the Nigerian army some few years back during the President Muhammad Buhari's administration, if I'm not forgetting. And we all understand and still remember what truly transpired during those trying times, according to what happened after his arrest and seizing of his international passport. Moving on to the next story, or before we do that, can we just have a break before we call it a wrap? Welcome back. You are watching the news panorama from Baba Bagide Imo Television, BGI TV. And before we call it a wrap, we'd like to tell you some other stories which came up on Friday as you're watching this Sunday morning. And two other stories we like to bring to you is even three, which is coming from the presidency. The federal government says the world needs more youths with technological knowledge to resolve global challenges. The Minister of Communications, Innovation and Digital Economy, Dr. Bosun Tijani, stated this at the 33rd Convocation Lecture of the Federal University of Technology, Akure. The minister stated that for a country to develop, there were three key sectors that must be identified and improved upon: agriculture, manufacturing, and servicing, which had been used to measure the gross domestic product since 1980. The minister, whose lecture was titled Knowledge and Research as a Foundation for Prosperous Economy, said universities of technology must rise more to the challenges of technological advancement in the country. Tijani said university must be creators of jobs through technological advancement and urged students to embrace self-investment. He noted with the level of water body we have, fishery is not growing. We depend on importation of fish. What a country Nigeria is. Financial institutions have grown very well, but not as we expected them to have grown. We are done applying knowledge and innovation. We are expecting a fish like our forefathers did in the last years. Forestry is suffering the same things. Coming to university is not to get degrees only. Knowledge must be generated, disseminated in the way it can advance the country. Earlier, the Vice Chancellor of FUTA, Professor Adenike Oladiji, said the occasion started last week and inviting the minister was part of the activities lined up to mark the 33rd anniversary of the school. Oladiji said the convocation was to showcase the school as the citadel of knowledge and happy to have brought the minister to Akure for the first time. This is a wake-up call to all technological institutions and companies that yes, the technological-oriented youth in the country can surely bring succor and solution to all global challenges. And from that story, we go to stories again from Friday, which came from Osun State as regards the state governor and Ooni of Ife. Osun State government has urged the public to ignore a video where Governor Ademola Adeleke appeared to snub the Ooni of Ife at an event. Oluomo Kolapo Alimi, Commissioner for Information and Public Enlightenment, noted that the video was doctored by agents of the opposition. Alimi further proved that the videos of the snub that went viral this week were fake by releasing the original videos from the event. The commissioner said the attention of the Osun State government has been drawn to a doctored video being circulated on social media by agents of the opposition and fake news peddlers. Governor Ademola Adeleke and Ooni of Ife, His Royal Majesty Oba Enitan Ogunwusi Ojaja II, enjoy the best of relations as evident by the cordial exchange of pleasantries at the Palace of Osemewa of Ondo at the coronation of Senator Olubiyi Ajagunla. We are, by this medium, appealing to members of the public to disregard the doctored video in its entirety, while we have uploaded the original videos for public consumption. What a world where we celebrate fallacy and lies. Let's always be the people perpetrating goodwill, goodness, and cordial relationship than bringing fallacy to the public. Moving on to the next story as regards the Osun State Governor himself, Ademola Adeleke. Osun State Governor Ademola Adeleke has suspended Adepele Ojo from office as Chief Judge of the state. What's a sack? This was disclosed in a statement by a spokesperson to the governor, Olawale Rashid, saying Adeleke approved the suspension of Ojo after the resolution of the State House of Assembly. Rashid said Adeleke also approved the appointment of Olayinka Afolabi as the new acting Chief Judge of the state. Meanwhile, following the approval of the resolution of the House by the governor, the Deputy Governor has been directed by the governor to perform the swearing-in ceremony of the acting Chief Judge of Osun State, which will be held tomorrow, as regards the information which came up on Friday. Earlier, the National Industrial Court restrained the governor from removing Ojo Adepele, or popularly known as Adepele Ojo, from office. Governor Adepele approves, Governor Adeleke. The names are woven now, kind of approves the resolution of the Osun Assembly asking Osun State Chief Judge to step aside. Even though she's in a year of retirement, I wonder why the sack and what's transpired. We can't tell, but from the news, we are mentioning what we are reading. The Executive Governor of Osun State, Ademola Adeleke, has approved the resolution of the Osun State House of Assembly asking State Chief Judge Adekunle Ojo to step aside pending investigation of allegations of misconduct, abuse of power, wow, corruption and disregard for rule of law against her by the House of Assembly. I remember the last time I was in Osun State covering a very gigantic case headed by Chief George Adekunle Ojo, and the way she moderated everything. They could have their own reason for asking her to step aside after investigation by the Osun House of Assembly. In resolution of Osun Assembly sitting today, as of the information count, the House resolved that the executive should be informed of the House resolution and that the next in order of seniority to Justice Adekunle Ojo be sworn in immediately to avoid any vacuum in the third arm of government in Osun State. The House had earlier resolved as follows. Having received various petitions against the Chief Judge of Osun State bordering on gross misconduct, abuse of office, corruption, and lack of respect for due process and rule of law, this Honorable House, in performance of its oversight functions and exercise of its investigative powers vested by the 1999 Constitution of Nigeria, as amended, hereby resolved as follows. That the Committee on Judiciary, Public Relations and Legal Matters investigate the petitions against the Chief Judge of Osun State, Honorable Justice Adekunle Ojo, by inviting the Chief Judge and report to the House within 7 days from today, as of the date when this was filed. This is how far we can go on News Panorama on BGI Television. Let's meet again to making sure we enjoy our weekend. Another interesting package awaits you come next weekend, I can assure you. Your TV is BGI Television, where we'll always bring the News Panorama as regards all of the news dailies from Monday till the weekend. I hope you enjoy this, and I want to wish you a prayer for Nigeria. For all US citizens, praying every day for the growth, development, progress, and progression of their states and their country. God bless America. You hear them say, let's imbibe the spirits of oneness and believe that Nigeria will be greater again. God bless Nigeria. I am Morire Ribadu. Have a wonderful weekend.